Is it just me, or has TV gotten really complicated? Thankfully, Philo has changed that for me. One service, all the stuff I need.
Did you know that Philo is the most affordable service to watch Yellowstone live and in season? Tune into the season premiere of Season 5B on November 10th at 8, 7 Central on the Paramount Network, by the way.
Philo's got current seasons of the shows I just can't miss live on networks like A&E, MTV, Discovery, and TLC.
Classics like The Office, Martin, and Friends that I never get sick of, and all the incredible originals on AMC Plus, from Mad Men Hello to Orphan Black.
And don't forget their library of more than 75,000 movies and shows, all of which I can save and rewatch anytime for a whole year.
Never miss a minute of shows like The Golden Girls. You know I'm always watching The Golden Girls, and Philo has it.
Best of all, with Philo, you get all of this for just $28 a month.
No contract, no hassles.
Just one subscription and a world of entertainment.
So go to philo.tv and check it out for a free 7-day trial.
That's philo.tv to start watching.
This episode is sponsored by DoorDash.
We're back to tell you more about the latest Dash Pass annual plan benefit. Stream Max with ads included at no extra cost. You know what's a great night for us? Ordering DoorDash and cuddling up to watch the Max original Hacks.
Which won Best Comedy, deservedly so, and we love tuning in to see not only icon Gene Smart, but the wonderful and incomparable Rose Abdu, who also is a huge Bravo fan.
Listen, I'm always in the mood for hacks, but you never know what kind of food I'm in the mood for. Sometimes it's pizza, sometimes it's a salad, and I can get both with DoorDash.
How about some ice cream? That's what I like to eat with my hacks.
100%. I will double dash. I will get a salad and then double dash some ice cream. Why not?
Sign up for a Dash Pass annual plan and get Max included at no extra cost.
It's your door to more. Max is now included with your Dash Pass annual plan. Stream Max with ads up to $120 value included at no extra cost.
Terms apply. See DoorDash.com/Max for details. Unlock your imagination with Audible. When you listen to audio content, your mind is free to paint the scenes and feel the emotions of a great story.
Audible's extensive catalog is sure to have titles that you'll enjoy. Immerse yourself in captivating tales, learn from world-renowned experts, and discover new perspectives, all while multitasking or relaxing.
There's more to imagine when you listen, and one title that I've been listening to is my friend Neil J. Young's Coming Out Republican, which talks about the history of gay Republicans. It's super fascinating and super interesting.
As an Audible member, you choose one title a month to keep from their entire catalog.
New members can try Audible free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/Crappens or text Crappens to 500-500. That's audible.com/Crappens or text Crappens to 500-500. Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens? Watch what crappens. Who cares what happens when there's so much that crappens?
Well, hello and welcome to Watch What Crappens. This is part 2 of a 2-part recap. If you're like, hey, wait a minute, I didn't hear part 1. Guys, it's because we put out a lot of recaps. Go back and listen to part 1, okay? It's before this one. Bye. Enjoy the show.
So that now it's like, a little break and everything, and it's funny. And then Heather's like, guess what? Who wants a relatable Heather Dubrow moment? I actually pooped this morning. I was so excited. Richard Marx didn't appreciate that I did it on his lap. But you know what? He's basically a toilet as far as I'm concerned.
I love even when Heather tries to act like she's human. I'm sorry, I just don't believe it. I don't believe anything has ever come out of that. I just don't believe it. I think like maybe if she blows her nose and some gravel comes out sometimes, but I do not for 1 second believe that actual poop ever came out of there.
Emily's like, whenever I travel to New York, I get constipated. Oh, Shannon gave me this stuff called Colon Max, and I immediately threw it out. But if you want it, you should get it.
Well, wasn't Shannon selling colon enemas or enemas something last season? Remember when she made Jenn do one in the bathroom to haze her?
Yeah.
What happened to that?
Yeah, I don't know. Can't believe it didn't take off.
Dr. Moon's ass blaster. Do you want to blast your ass to the moon? Take Dr. Moon's ass blaster. Jen Pedranti loved it.
Hello, everyone. I'm back on the set. We have fixed the breast shelf. The breast shelf has been fixed. And I now am looking more like Lady Bird Johnson than ever before.
So she's like, I duct taped them down. I duct taped my breast. So now we start over again. And then Shannon, Heather's like, I was telling them about colon Max. And Shannon says, I'm about to poop right now. And Andy's like, great. So he starts back up and he's like, welcome back. Shannon's going to poop. She's like, well, I poop.
Wacky Shannon is back, everyone. Are you in barrel? No, I'm going to be fine. I have multiple Spanx on, and so it's just too difficult of a maneuver right now. Plus, I'm pretty sure I have some psychic debris kind of working as a cork, if you know what I'm saying.
So then we talk about now this season. Oh God, then we move on to the Katie segment. Oh Jesus, here we go.
Yeah, here we go.
So Katie's boring montage. Let's face it, it was boring. So then we get to the fighting with Heather and all that. So then let's see. What are the first questions?
So
Andy's like,
before we get into that, Katie, I want to hear about your journey attempting to reconnect with your mother. So she didn't go to Korea because her father-in-law was ill and then ultimately passed away. So that's going to be coming up like next month, maybe for the camera. Who knows? That would actually be nice. I would actually like to see that. And then it's like, okay, and you and Tamra both have kids who live away from you. So why did your son, Max, ultimately decide to stay in Atlanta with your ex? Colon Max, I do use it. I'm a human. I'm a regular person, Colon Max. Is that what we're talking about? Sorry, I wasn't really listening because it was a Katie segment.
She says he didn't want to leave the school and friends and stuff like that. And she still sees him for Thanksgiving and Christmas, every break, and she goes there once a month to see him. So her other son wasn't old enough to shoot, and the ex wouldn't sign off on him being there, whatever, small talk. So then she's like,
wait. I just want to say
now we get to San Diego, right?
Yeah, because she's mentioning that her other son is in San Diego and he was living in San Diego, etc. Whatever. It's like you said, just like a get to know Katie moment or whatever, and everything is fine. And Gina is like, so he's still there, and she's like, no, now he's we're full time in Orange County. So then fucking Gina, just when you think she's having like a good moment, she's like, she's overall had, despite a rough start, a pretty good season. And then Gina out of nowhere is like, you know what? When I first met you, you told me, you reached out to me saying you needed my help as a real estate agent. And then you lied to me about owning your home in San Diego. I was like, really? Are we going back to this again? Everyone lies to Gina, the realtor. That's the story of the season.
It's just so weird. And I'm not saying these people aren't lying to her, but it's just so weird that Gina is like coming and using everybody's real estate applications against them. Like, it's just so bizarre. Like, who wants to do business with Gina after seeing how she treats people on TV over business? It's bizarre. It's extremely unprofessional. And especially to like blindside her at the reunion. Like, they're all deciding that they're going to blindside Katie now to go be Heather minions as fucking usual. Gina's always there at the end of the day to carry fucking Heather's water every single season, and here she is again doing it. And you're going to start with real estate bashing? Don't they have enough else? They're about to mommy shame her, adoption shame her,
everything shame her.
I mean, everything. They're about to drag this woman completely down. And you need to bring this up to Gina. Sit the fuck down. Gina's an asshole too. Gina, like you said, Gina has 2 good seconds and then reminds you, people don't change.
I know.
They just don't.
Gina is more upset about this stupid fringe situation that didn't even happen on the show than she is about Tamra treating Shannon like an asshole. Like, it's like that whole last Tamra thing that we watched. Gina's like, yeah, well, Tamra, don't you think you should be nicer? But here it's like, you told me you own that house. Instead, you didn't tell me that you were leasing to own it. Like, and she's angry. She's so angry right now. I'm actually literally frothing at the mouth. I just had a big bubble of saliva just coat my lips. I'm like, Gina is making me foam at the mouth right now. I'm going rabid because she makes me so annoyed.
So Katie's like, no, I didn't lie to you. We did a lease to own, and they wanted 2 years of rental income. So that's the situation that we have now. Am I going to say that I understand what the fuck Katie's talking about? Not really. But no matter what, maybe she did lie. I don't even know what she did. I just think that's such a weird thing to bring up and use against somebody on TV. Like, it's bizarre.
Yeah,
and why
I also
are you
feel like
bringing it up now?
there may also be a broader context to this that I don't understand, you know. And then Emily jumps in. So then this is where Emily really starts to go downhill for me this reunion because she started off well, where she was saying to Tamra, like, you shouldn't have been bullying Shannon into saying that she's an alcoholic. You like, what do you expect to get out of that? I'm like, oh, Emily, good. But now Emily just jumps in and goes, I asked you directly if you own this home. I'm like, what? Why are you coming in hot now? This is already a stupid argument between Gina and Katie. And now you're jumping in because you and Gina have clearly been talking about this and pissed about this and have decided this is what you're going to use to take Katie down.
And Emily's also yelling, by the way. I have to point out, she's literally yelling across the room and she's pointing and she's shaking her arm and she's like pointing at her. And she's like, oh, I know, but she asked you directly if you own it. And Gina goes, do you own a home? Well, she showed me the text and you said, yes, but you don't own the home. And Gina's like, yeah, that bothers me. And then you make and then we see Katie's Instagram story where she is feeding her dogs outside with a glass of wine. And she put a caption that says, I love feeding my dogs at my home in Orange County. And she did that because Emily went on, guess where else? Fucking Jeff Lewis, and said, I thought that she moved. Like, she didn't even leave. She was basically saying this girl doesn't even live in Orange County. She lives in San Diego or something, you know, which they do sometimes. Like, she's not even on the, why is she even on this show?
But like, hello, Heather Dubrow lives in Los Angeles and basically rents out a room in a country club in Newport Beach so that we can have some excuse to be on this show. So where's the energy for Heather on this, right? So Katie is like, but I didn't move out of Orange County. But you live in a different house, so it's not like I was wrong. She was like, well, I heard that you said I moved to San Diego, and I did not move to San Diego. But you said in an interview that you went back to San Diego. It's like, are people not allowed to leave the geographic realm of Orange County for the duration of their time?
No kidding.
On the show?
What do we all have ankle bracelets? You've been in the Innocence Project for 5 minutes, girl. God.
Is this a federal crime? Did she go across state lines except in the county version? I mean, what's going on here?
And she's like, I went back for 2 months because my father-in-law was dying. Oh, you went back for a couple of months. 2 months because his hospital was 3 miles from our house there. Oh, and then you went back to Orange County and you live in a different house and you used to live in when you were filming. And then you get mad and you make an Instagram. Who cares if she moved? People on this show move every fucking season. What is your problem?
Yeah, Tamra has a new house every single year. What is where is
Tamra lives in Big Bear now? She moved back to shoot this show. Everybody knows it. Why are you acting like this is such a fucking sin?
I know. And on top of that this is like all over something that Katie said to Gina off camera, not during the season, about, yeah, I own the house. And they're acting like this is the biggest crime that we've seen all year long. So Emily's like, when I was actually right, you did move. You don't live in the same house. And you did go to San Diego for a while. It's like, congratulations. She also went to Starbucks. Did you also predict that as well? Because you seem to be really on a tear here.
Fucking weirdo. I'm a lawyer. And by the way, you better not repeat that because it's copyrighted. So
Katie's like, yes, you're totally right about that. You're very right.
Well, I just think there's a lot of inconsistency and things that don't add up with some of the stuff you say. Yeah, look who's talking. You want to start going over your fucking ex's bullshit that we've been going around for 3 years that no one has brought to you on camera and made you answer for. Not one single person. And
yeah, inconsistencies like. Yeah, like exactly. Like you're saying in one part of the season that Travis had to go because you're earning enough money to provide gifts for your kids, but not enough to provide gifts for all the kids. So he has to leave the house. Now it's about the ex. Like talk about things that aren't really clear and don't make sense.
And talk about she's already moved back in with Travis. I heard like that was just for storyline that whole time. She's so full of shit. So then, and by the way, allegedly, this is all just shit I'm reading on the internet. But Gina's like
Jeff Lewis.
Yeah, no kidding. But it's just inconsistencies, you know, and like even Jenn has questioned it, right, Jenn? And Jenn's like, well, look, there's so many stories. And here's the thing, you have to ask her because she has a story and she has an explanation for everything. And you know what I love? Explanations. I just love them. I collect them. I say, hey, what was the deal with that? And then I find out, it was just a flaccid penis, and it wasn't sent to all of his friends. It was just sent to all of the hostesses of the Nobus around the tri-state area.
As long as that photo did not touch my bowls and forks and knives.
So then Gina's like, so you believe all of her explanations? And she's like, do I have a reason not to? To be fair, Jenn does seem to really believe things on face value.
Yeah, Jenn will believe anything. You know what I mean?
Jenn may not be Katie's best character witness. So Heather's like, if I look you up, there's not 100 stories online. And was like, yeah, there's nothing. Then me, I guess she's saying like, if she looks up everyone on the cast, there's no stories. Maybe she's like, maybe for me, there's a story that Terry cheats on me, but that's basically it. And Katie has a million different stories going on, which actually I don't.
Gee, I wonder why she does, but I wonder why, Heather.
Katie only has two main stories, which was which get addressed both here: the shots, and then the stuff with this police incident. That's just two stories. That's just two,
Yeah, and it is kind of a coincidence that Katie has all these weird stories out about her, and I don't think it is a coincidence at all. I think these are hateful cast members putting stories in the blogs.
Yeah.
So, and they're all by one author too, which is super interesting. Ryan something, and I was like, I wonder if he knows Heather, because that's weird. So then, because I totally 100%, just in case I sound like I'm hinting around, I totally 100% believe this is all Heather torturing her. So then we see Real Housewives of Orange County headline: Katie Janela sued for $5 million over alleged stolen business idea. So he asked about the tee shots, and she's like, oh, I was actually dismissed from that case. It was my friend who's a business partner who probably heard about it on the golf course from somebody else. And then we see the next thing, and Heather's just like, well, there's just so many hinky stories. I mean, Sutton texted me last week and said to me, she used me. And Kitty says, and I was like, wow, Sutton's making it on here again, and even Sutton's going to come on and carry some water for fucking Heather.
And Katie's like, I used her. And Heather's like, yes, she came to my house in Augusta, and she was going to bring all these high level golfers. I'm talking. No one showed up, and she didn't pay the photographer, and she used me to promote her business. And we see text from Sutton, and Sutton's text is like, this is nuts. This is what she did at my house in Augusta. 3 exclamation points, because I'm that angry. Never paid for the photographer, didn't bring any golfers, only used my house for promo. Crazy.
But I did offer to pay her, even the catering. I'm just telling you what Sutton said. And then Andy's like, well, Christine from that character that Julia Louis-Dreyfus played after Seinfeld ended says, how could I be out of other Christines already? Says, hey, what's the story about getting snubbed by Heather at Sutton's Christmas party? And Heather's like, oh, this is good, because there are 3 different stories. And the first story is that I saw you in a driveway and I looked at you evilly. She goes, no, I didn't see you in a driveway. My turn to speak. I'm speaking now.
But I'm correcting you.
I'm speaking now. And then I looked away and I snubbed you. And the second story was that I was at the bar. And
that is the story. That's the story. That story. It's
me.
Well,
that's the one.
Okay. Well, she was there with Denise Richards and Camille Grammer, but I never even saw Camille at that party. That's story number 2. Meanwhile, Camille was probably like talking to Heather, like, hi, Heather, it's me, Camille.
Yeah,
hi.
Yeah, she's Camille. Yeah, she's Camille.
Oh, Mauricio. Oh, thank you so much. Who's Camille? Can you tell me who Camille is?
Camille is this lady. She used to be married to Fraser. And then he left her for some flight attendant or something. And now he posts pictures really hairily in his underwear.
And it's so fun and so upsetting.
So you can see how Camille Grammer is. And Katie is like, she was standing right next to you.
I'm pretty sure that was just one of those strange sculptures of a dog butler. No, it was Camille. I put my drink on the tray. No, you balanced it on Camille's head, and she was pretty good at it because she used to be a dancer. I don't think you got it right, Katie. Nope.
Yeah, I wouldn't believe that. I've seen Camille dance. There's no balancing on any heads. That's for damn.
I'm still speaking. And story 3 was that we were in a group of people and your name was said and I heard it.
Okay, well, listen, I didn't tell.
I am still not done. And I heard your name and I didn't respond. And everyone standing there thought it was weird. Let me just tell you something.
Oh my God.
My turn. When someone is coming into this group, we all want to have friends. Only a moron would do that. And I am not a moron. I am an actress who lives next to Drake. I don't know how it devolved into these 3 separate stories, but let me tell you something. Even if there are 3 stories, I would know all my lines in each single one of them.
I didn't tell 3 separate stories, but I promise you, had I known who you were, I would have said hi. And Gina's like, yeah.
And she like leans forward into Katie. Hi. Like the scariest version of saying hi.
Yeah, your friendly neighborhood Heather. Jesus Christ. I just saw you out on lawns to terrify children. Jesus Christ. So Gina's like, it would have been in the best interest to say hello. Oh, shut up, you ass kisser. Jesus Christ. I can't with all these people coming to battle for Heather. It's so gross. Jesus. Everybody else just needs to get a little money to get respect in this cast.
It's time for a commercial. It's time for a Crappens commercial.
We know you're listening because you can't get enough drama.
But there are some things that should stay drama-free.
Like getting birth control, accessing gender-affirming care, getting tested for STIs.
Healthcare shouldn't be dramatic, but lawmakers insist on attacking our rights to get the care we need and deserve.
Your gift to Planned Parenthood helps all people, no matter their race, sexual orientation, gender identity, zip code, income, or immigration status, get affordable, high-quality care without judgment, stigma, or drama. So don't wait. Make your gift now at PlannedParenthood.org/protect.
Look, I'm no stranger to drama, obviously. I live for it, but sometimes even I need to put down the remote and escape for a little bit. And if a drama-free paradise is what you're looking for, then have I got the place for you. Aruba! It's the opposite of Scary Island. It's officially known as One Happy Island because of its friendly, warm, and welcoming culture. Spend your days lying on some of the best beaches in the world under the sunniest skies in the Caribbean, and you'll see why this island is the #1 guy in the group in the best way. Get a beachside massage with locally grown aloe, or adventure outdoors with a hike or a snorkel. No matter what you do in Aruba, you'll find happiness. That happy, relaxing feeling you find on Aruba's shores, that stays with you. There's no drama. It's just a sun-soaked white sand beach, crystal blue water escape that will leave you feeling Giovanni, baby. So save yourself the stress and headache of planning a vacation and instead book a rejuvenating trip at Aruba.com.
All right. Well, Christine from Aguilera, they both are missing their A's. So they say, well, we really can't think of any. No one person runs all the paparazzi in LA. Is it possible that your friend meant, yes, it looked like paparazzi versus having proof that Heather actually hired a photographer?
So, okay, Katie, listen, now up to this point, I'm really trying to stand for Katie, right? Okay, so now she goes, oh, well, we had a phone conversation after that text, and he called me and said, why do you want to know? And I said, I saw it on TikTok and it was funny. And he's like, wait a minute. And Katie's like, oh, no, you didn't see it on your TikTok because you told Gina something different. And he goes, yeah, you didn't see it on TikTok. You didn't see it on TikTok.
No, it came up on my For You page, and I screenshot the TikTok and sent it to him, and that's what you see. I thought, no, you never said. You said it was Instagram. It was Instagram. She's lying, everyone. She's using the wrong platform. She's full of lies. Hinky story.
Yeah, but the reason you were asking wasn't because it was on a TikTok feed. And Katie's like, he said it wasn't Heather. It was someone close to her. Okay, so now he said it wasn't Heather. Okay, so now you're just caught. Now there's nothing else I could do to help you, Katie. What the fuck?
I want to be clear. I didn't call the paparazzi. I didn't pass a note in biology to someone. I am speaking. I didn't wink at anybody.
My son did. It's like, oh, okay. So then Katie's like, got it. So she's like, no, nobody notified the paparazzi. Okay. Well, then just the random paparazzi took pictures of this woman that nobody gives a shit about and spread it literally everywhere. Okay. That's fine. Maybe it was a really slow, sad day over there. I don't know.
I don't know why you were trying to look into things about me months before you met me. I don't care what you saw on TikTok. But of course, Heather's whole thing of like months before you met me is also like, well, her version is that you snubbed her. So she'd actually met you. You just didn't pay any attention to her. So of course she's like, who is this bitch? I mean, I know her from TV. I want to look into this, you know, but Heather acting like, I can't believe you would look into things about me. Now, excuse me while I spend the rest of the episode talking about all the articles that I read about you.
So then, also when she says TikTok, she's like, I don't care what you heard on TikTok. She does like an air quote. And so Katie's like, okay, well, me being very new, wait, what are we talking about now? Now they're talking about Gina and Heather.
It's weird. I was very interested in meeting you. I love fans, and nothing about you adds up. I think there's a story for everything. I don't know. I think you have absolutely no credibility. And you know I mean business because I said every single syllable in that sentence.
So Katie's like, okay. And then she just turns to Gina and says, I just want to apologize to you for saying I think it was a setup. With you, because Tamra and I had that conversation, and then we see a flashback to Tamra and Katie talking about Gina and Heather, and Tamra's going, Gina knew it would not be funny. You got set up to do Gina's dirty work. And then we come back, and Katie's like, and me being brand new, hearing her say that to me, I was like, do you really think that? Do you think that's possible? And Heather's like, oh, so now it's Tamra's fault.
Yeah, it's you, Tamra. It's your fault. And everyone's like, oh, classic. But Tamra was the one who threw Katie under the bus in an effort to, in this like battle between her and Shannon. Don't you? Because remember, Tamra was in Katie's ear, like, you got set up. You know what? She said this, and you got set up. But then the moment, let's see if I can remember, it was in London. There was like a moment where then Tamra decided, oh, because Katie is friends with Jenn. So when Jenn yelled at Tamra, then Tamra had to basically now go after Katie because she's an ally of Jenn. So all of a sudden she was like, you know what? I'm starting to realize that Katie did start this shit. She wasn't set up. She made me think she was set up, but she did start this shit. So Katie's just like, I think it's turnabout's fair play. Katie's like, you threw me under the bus? Fine, I'm going to throw you under the bus.
So then, Katie's like, I was shocked. And Tamara's like, but see, I only said that because of the things you were telling me. And she goes, oh, yeah. It was just the whole situation. And Tamara's like, well, she thought Gina told you to bring it up. And Katie's like, and then you and I had that conversation the night before the golf event, and we talked about it. And I said, I really want to tell woman to woman. I just didn't want it to become this whole group thing. But you did make it a whole group. I am talking thing first.
And then you said the bar, and I said the bar, why did you tell everybody? And Heather's like, well, that was on purpose. She's like, yeah, this is why it's hard for me, and I feel bad for me. And Katie's like, it was too far gone by then. I mean, I will say it was Katie's mistake that she told everyone. It's either like you either come in and you just go full-throated with this information and go after Heather, or you just keep it to yourself. But she was sort of like told people, and then it sort of got around, and she's like, wow, I guess it's become a whole group thing. It's like, yeah, that is sort of on you, Katie.
Well, and she was doing like other season news too, right? Like she's like, I'm going to be on the show. I'm going to come for Heather. And I'll bet she was calling the paparazzi. That's going to be my thing. I'm going to come for Heather, and it's going to be about paparazzi. It's like she's a little girl who's like getting her first chance, you know? She's like, I'm going to do this. And it just failed. It was like a huge failure. It's something we've already heard. No one cares about it. People assume they all call the paparazzi on themselves anyway. Like it was just a failure from the beginning.
Sorry, I thought you were done, so I started to go in on a fresh new Heather.
I'm literally never done.
I am speaking. Still me. By the way, how about this? Why do you care, aside from the fact that I am an established television actress?
She's just like, whatever. Heather, I just didn't think this would be so rattling. And she goes, oh, you did. You wanted it too. She goes, no, I mean, don't put words in my mouth. This is your thing. Falsely accusing people is kind of your thing. I get it. Okay, this is where it's like, you've already won this. Katie looks really stupid. You've already come in with her. You made her look like a total jackass and a total liar. Just end it. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like this is where we enter the an inhumane punishment section of the reunion.
Yeah. So now they're like, what's Shannon's like,
Wait, who else has been falsely accused? Who was it? Who was it? What? I thought the only person who was making false accusations was that slut Alexis Bellino. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself.
so Emily is like, well, Katie falsely accused someone and he ended up going to prison. Hashtag the innocent project. Katie's like, he didn't go to prison. Can I just tell the story? He went to jail. So
You gotta love Emily doesn't know the difference between prison and jail. Okay, Miss Lawyer Innocence Project.
so Emily's like, well, Katie's like, I want to tell the story. And Emily's like, well, if you tell the story, I don't know if we believe you telling the story. I'm like, it's her fucking story to tell. And you guys have all been in this rodeo for a few years now. And you all know that maybe what gets printed on Radar Online is not the most factually accurate. And the fact that you don't even want to hear it come right out of the horse's mouth and you'd rather trust, some blogger or some tabloid instead is already really shitty.
Yeah, and Emily's like, well, I don't know if we believe you. And Heather goes, we've read the story. Yeah, okay, guys. So when anything comes up about you, you're just going to say, oh, what, we believe bloggers now? Which is like your next thing to say. Freaking hypocrites. So then and Katie's like, okay, so the kids and I were driving in Marietta, Georgia on a 4-lane road. And a man goes, and Andy says when, and she was like 10 years ago. So this is, by the way, 10-year-old tea that these ladies are trying to go for. And so she says that a man was swerving into their lane with his window down, yelling, fuck you, bitch. And she had 3 kids in the back of her car, and they were little. So they pulled over to the side of the road to let him pass. And he went right in front of her and started screaming at her. So she called the police, and the police said, can you leave? And then she put her car in reverse, and he ran to the back of her car, started filming her and her children, and the children are screaming, crying, and the kids remember that day. It was just so terrifying. And Heather's like, well, that's not the story the police tell.
Which is already like, really, Heather? So Katie's like, yes, well, they tell a one-sided story. And Emily goes, the police do? Again, to your point, the Innocent Project. So Andy's like, look, the point is that like the system doesn't always work for people, okay? And Emily should know that. And here Emily's like shocked. So Andy's like, I want to hear the rest of the story. So Katie's basically saying that the guy wouldn't let her leave. Oh yeah, well, she's really credible. I'm like, I could not believe the way Heather was totally dismissing this account by Katie. And Katie says, yeah, he runs in front of the car when she tried to leave, and the police came in and they're like, calm down, and if you won't come down, we'll tase you. And so then the guy was like, fuck you, fuck the police. So they tased him. He went to jail. And she's like, I had nothing to do with him going to jail. She goes, well, that's not how the police tell the story. The police tell a story that you followed the guy home. She's like, I would never follow anyone home. You guys have been on a show with me for 9 months now. You see how boring I am. Why would I ever do anything rageful? I've had so many opportunities with you ladies already, and I haven't taken them up.
Oh, really? So the police are lying, are they? And Andy's like, well, how do you know what the police said anyway, Heather? And she goes, because there's statements in that article. And then we see the headline from In Touch, and Katie Janella accused of calling the police to report fake crime causing wrongful arrest. And she's like, well, it tells one side from everybody, because if you read the police report, the statement I gave to the Cobb County Police, it's a lot different. It's different. And Heather's like, well, she was driving the car. She was texting children with children in her car. And this guy saw her and was triggered because a family member had been killed by driving. And so she saw they saw a texting person and told her to stop. And she was outraged and followed him home. Well, that sounds like a fucking lie
bullshit.
And I love that she's taking the story of some rando guy who's like, just because he knows someone that died from texting and driving. He's screaming at someone and cursing at a mother with 3 kids in her car in public on the roads.
Someone is triggered because they have a family member who is killed by distracted driving. So they were going to have a road rage moment instead.
Like, totally
like, no, that does not add up.
But you know what's dangerous? Texting while driving. Oh, okay.
So we're okay with the person who's having road rage. Got it. So Katie's like, I don't know where he lives. Why would I follow someone home with my 3 young kids in the back? She goes, well, she pulled him in his driveway, came out, and she was yelling at him. He filmed her. She lit his house on fire. I don't think you know about that part. She lit his house on fire, and then she doxed him all over Reddit. And then on top of that, she had him deported out of the country. And then when he finally got back into the country, she kicked him in the balls. How rude is this woman?
So she's like, and then they took him to jail in front of his neighbors, that poor man. Katie's like, I don't remember there being neighbors. Well, then they went to jail and prison. And they realized that Katie was the aggressor, not him, and he was released. No, sometimes they take people to jail and they realize that both people were at fault. And they let somebody out of the jail, Heather. So Katie's like, well, I couldn't even tell my side. I didn't even get to go to court because they served my ex-husband. And they're like, what? And she goes, yeah, they went to his house because that was my address at the time on my license or whatever. And my lawyer said, did you know you had this date? And I said, no, I didn't show up because I didn't know about the date. So immediately I was found guilty. And at the time, I was literally homeless with 3 kids. Like I had nowhere to go. And she starts crying. And so they served her ex-husband. Oh, this is
sounds
so
like she was in like
sad.
It's so sad. It sounds like she was in a shelter because she said she was in a facility and she didn't want to say its name or anything. But it sounds like she was probably in a safe home or whatever the proper name is for it. And so the ex-husband is the one who gets served. And of course, he's a dick. And he doesn't tell her, but he doesn't. Luckily, he actually has no communication with her. But the downside is that he has no communication with her. And so then she has no idea that this happens. And so then
you've got Gina over here. Yes. And you've got Gina over here going, they can't serve your ex-husband. They have to serve you. And Shannon said, well, it's just the address. And Katie's like, they left it at the address on my license. And Gina's like, I don't think they can do that. Okay, Gina.
Okay. Thanks.
Gina.
Thanks, Gina. Thanks for all your work here as an expert on Georgia laws.
So we've got now this woman who was in a shelter. Assumedly, she was in a shelter because of some not great stuff going on in her marriage with her 3 kids trying to outrun a crazy person on the road. Now, does that mean she had road rage? I don't know. Maybe she did. Who fucking knows?
I mean,
what I know is I see a woman under some extreme duress here, and this cast is just laughing and mocking her while she's
just using it.
it.
Totally unsympathetic to what sounds like a very scary ordeal. Like, you know, they always say there's one side, there's the other side, her side, his side, and then the truth. So maybe Katie was texting while driving. Okay. But it sounds like this person had road rage, and whatever it is, it sounds like a fucked up situation. And it seems like, you know, this is not an innocent until proven guilty situation with these women. This is we don't believe anything you say because you lied about, you weren't clear about your intentions with a home in San Diego. Nothing you say actually has any credibility. So we're not going to choose to believe this very scary and harrowing story that we can see all over your face, that this is so disturbing to you and it traumatized your family. But because you said you went to San Diego for a few weeks and didn't tell us, we don't believe you.
Well, and they're also kind of forcing her to admit that she was in the shelter and had this horrible time with her children where she's living out of her car and all this other shit on national TV, which her kids are going to see. I mean, they're just vile fucking cows. And then Heather Emily just is Emily, I don't know. I'm even losing. And especially after going after Shannon for investigating people, you know, and then they're saying later when Andy calls him on it, he's like, you're investigating. And they're like, no, it was just an article. Well, so was Gina's thing. Gina's thing was all over the blog about pushing that man down the stairs. We all read it. And now you guys are acting like, oh, well, we can do it because it was in the blogs. You fucking hypocrites. Do you even hear yourselves? Monster.
And she's like, do you see? I feel like it's a pattern with you that every time you get called out on something, there's an excuse for everything. I'm like, it is such a shitty take by Emily. And it really, like, I'm so glad you brought up the Innocent Project because I did not even think about that. But especially in the context of that, you know, here is a cause that is about helping people who've been falsely incarcerated get out of jail because no one listened to their side, or people were quick to judge, or there was corruption in the system and they got screwed. And here she is advocating for that. and yet she is coming on so hard to Katie. Now, if somehow it comes out that that Katie did lie in this situation or whatever, then we can roast her then. But for right now, like this,
I literally don't even care because it's none of Emily's fucking business to bring it on the show. It's none of her business.
Yeah, the point is this: they're not giving, like, considering that they all are shady and they all are murky about details when it comes to their lives, that they are roasting Katie and holding her to a higher standard. I don't know. I think it's shitty.
Especially Emily saying, oh, yeah, you know what? All I hear from you are excuses. When the second Emily got called out on something this year, what did she do? It's because my mom traumatized me.
I know. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, I only shamed you for how much money you spend because my mom didn't come home for lunch.
My God, this lady sucks, man. So then Andy's like, well, Heather, so Shannon's like, oh, well, there's a lot of investigation here because I don't know anything about this. And Heather's like, well, it's all over the internet. It's everywhere. We're not investigating. And this is where Andy starts laughing. And he's like, but you started the day by saying, I don't want to be in an environment where you dig stuff up on other people. And the only people I want questions from are named Christine. So,
and 2 hours earlier, we see Heather saying, like, I don't, and she flaps her hand, like, I don't want to dig stuff up today. Let's not dig things up. I'm going to flap my hand to the left and to the right. Let's swat an imaginary fly. Let's not dig things up. And now she's like, well, it's all over the internet. By the way, this is not all over the internet. This is not Scandival. Like, yes, it's out there on the internet. And yes, there are articles, but like, you had to really this, first of all, this came out months ago, and the fact that it's still present in your head means that you still had to go do some searching, find the article, find all the details. You had to read all that stuff. You had to memorize all the beats of that story. So to me, like, maybe you didn't dig it up, but you certainly spent a lot of energy around this article.
And Emily's like, well, it's in public domain. We're flipping through Instagram. And Heather's like, what I'm saying is I'm not calling an attorney, and I'm not hiring a...
Wait a sec. I'm sorry. Did Emily literally just say, oh, well, if it's in the public domain and you're flipping through Instagram and you see it, like, didn't she just roast Katie for saying she found something on her TikTok For You page?
Yeah. Well, she's saying that Katie was lying about that, and she told Gina she originally heard that from somewhere else, not the TikTok. But now she's using TikTok as an excuse or something. I don't know. Just fucking hypocrites. So then Heather's like, the point is, I don't call paparazzi. It's like, okay, wow. All of this just because someone called Heather out on some stupid little thing that we all believe 100% that she did. And even if you didn't call the paparazzi, you would. You narcissist. You're completely that type of personality. And so is your husband. He bragged about it on TV. You probably all are on these shows. It's like the smallest, most petty thing. And then you just dragged a woman to the lowest, basest. Oh, and it's not done yet. So it's not the lowest yet. They go even lower. They go even lower in a second. But shame on you, man. Gross.
I just have a question. I saw an article and I read it, and it was about when you were first divorced and you didn't have physical or legal custody of your children. And we see a headline. And Emily's like, I don't understand how something like that happens, because here in California, for you to lose both physical and legal, you have to be unfit or sign papers and say, I don't want anything to do with my kids. I'm so mad at Emily for like really implying that Katie is the fucked up one in this situation. I know someone right now. I know someone who is going through a very bitter situation, and the guy has money, and he's been able to paint her as like someone who's out of her mind and like a wackadoodle. And I'm sorry, but like, men have so much power in these situations, and when you're like, men in the court, like they really control a lot of the narrative. And I think we've seen it a lot, and I'm sure there are many people in our audience who are like, I've been there too. I mean, like, where women are painted as being unfit, they're hysterical, they're incapable, they're not trustworthy, whatever. Like, this is something that happens all the time, and it's so fucked up, and it's not fair, and Emily should know this. And the fact that Emily's like, well, the court said, well, you lost your rights, so I guess that means that you were the one who was bad. You were a bad mom, probably. Emily, who is sensitive over the implication that she drummed up that anyone was saying she was a bad mom because her kids were blabbing. And now she's going to imply here on this couch that Katie is a bad mom because the court took away her kids. It's so fucked up.
Yeah, when the biggest rule on these shows is don't bring the children into it, and you start sobbing and crying, and everybody makes a huge drama, and Heather's crying, and everyone's crying because they had the nerve to bring their children into it. To go to this level and call someone out, this is worse than we've seen ever. Somebody do on the show to say you lost custody. Why would you lose custody? That only happens when it's your fucking fault in California. You must be a disgusting fucking woman to lose custody.
And you're a family attorney, and like she must have dealt with this before. Like
especially as a family attorney. Yes, you're correct, actually.
And like when you honestly when you have a situation where there are many women, again, because I know one right now. It's like I'm friends with one of them, but like when you have a situation where all of a sudden like a woman gives up her career to raise the kid, and then the guy does some fuckery, and now she's out on her own, and she has like no job or whatever because she gave it up to raise the kids, to do her part of whatever arrangement that they had made, and now all of a sudden like she's the one who's unfit when she was the one who had the rug pulled out from under her. Like this happens all the time, and I'm not saying that's what happened in Katie's case. We don't know what happened in Katie's case, but Emily should know well enough that like just because the way the court ruled, both from the Innocent Project and from being a family attorney, does not necessarily tell the full story of what's happening between these people.
Yes. And also, we keep saying, oh, well, she's a family attorney, she should know. But you know what? All family attorneys are not created equal. Who's going against these women? Who's destroying these women in court and getting custody taken away? Women like Emily, men like Emily, attitudes like Emily's. So when we keep saying, well, she should know better, she's a family attorney, maybe she does know better. And that's why she's trying to destroy her like this in a way that she knows she can. It's disgusting. It's really bad. So Andy's like, well, so Katie, what happened? And she says she was living in a facility, and her parents, who probably some kind of a home, as we've said, some kind of a shelter.
We don't really know if it's a shelter or not. We don't really know what this means.
But even
that's where my mind went.
Her parents lived 20 minutes from her and couldn't help her because they wouldn't agree because she was divorcing her ex-husband, which to them is a sin. So he was immediately awarded the kids because she couldn't provide a place for them to live, which is 100% believable and also extremely sad.
Commercials. Here comes one right now.
Losing weight can be hard, and when it comes to prioritizing your health and feeling confident and strong, it can be difficult to know where to start. Now you can get your health in check and be confident that you're on the right track to getting healthy through Hers.
Hims & Hers is changing women's healthcare by providing access to GLP-1 weekly injections with the same active ingredient as Ozempic and Wegovy, as well as oral medication kits.
Weight loss by Hims & Hers is realistic, it's not restrictive, and it's focused on giving you access to the solution that is right for you. So you've been struggling with your weight loss journey, it's time you find an option that works for you with Hims & Hers.
Start your free online visit today at forhers.com/crappin.
That's forhers.com/crappins for your personalized weight loss treatment options.
forhers.com/crappins.
Hers weight loss is not available everywhere. Compounded products are not FDA approved or verified for safety, effectiveness, or quality. Prescription required. Restrictions apply.
With big wireless providers, what you see is never what you get. Somewhere between the store and your first month's bill, the price you thought you were paying magically skyrockets. With Mint Mobile, you'll never have to worry about gotchas ever again. When Mint Mobile says $15 a month when you purchase a 3-month plan, they mean it.
Oh my goodness, I cannot tell you how many times with other mobile providers I thought I was going to be paying one thing per month, and then surprise, I'm paying much more. And I just love that Mint Mobile is straight up.
All plans come with high-speed data and unlimited talk and text delivered on the nation's largest 5G network.
Use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your phone number along with all your existing contacts. To get this new customer offer and your new 3-month premium wireless plan for just $15 a month, go to mintmobile.com/crappins. Cut your wireless bill to $15 a month at mintmobile.com/crappins.
$45 upfront payment required, equivalent to $15 a month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes on unlimited plan. Additional taxes, fees, and restrictions apply. See Mint Mobile for details. And so then Emily's like, oh, was that legal custody as well? Because that's the part that doesn't make sense. And she goes, I don't know. And she goes, well, legal custody is just decision-making power. So that has to do with the health and wellness of the kids. And she's like, well, at the time I thought, you know what, right now it's okay because I was trying to get my life together and figure out how I could get them back and take care of them. And this is so fucking sad. I want to cry talking about this, which is very unlike me. But watching it, I was just like, this poor woman telling the story, and then having Emily not even change the tone in her voice and just being like, "Oh, right. So was that what kind of custody was that?"
You know, you have Emily here, like you said before. We have sat through so many seasons of Emily talking about how her mom wasn't there for her. She had to do things on her own, which, by the way, is sad. Like, you know, like I'm not going to take that away from Emily, but like if you want us to hold space for your family trauma and what you've gone through and your struggles, like why are you being so unsympathetic here? And it's only because you've decided to just like back up Gina because Gina was so mad that Katie said that she owned a house that she actually just was leasing to own.
Yeah, it's just
outrageous.
This all comes back to Heather just not liking someone said she called the paparazzi when Katie didn't even start that shit. Tamra did. And now Heather's besties with Tamra doing all of this shit. Just gross people. So Emily's like, you're still coming at her. And Andy asks how she got custody back. And Katie said, well, she went to, meaning her and Matt, went to court a few times to fight it. And he said, and you built yourself a life. I mean, I'm assuming she's talking about Matt.
I don't know if it was Matt. She may have just been her like attorney or something. Because I don't know if she met Matt at that point.
I was wondering what was we? So, okay, that makes sense. So then Andy was like, so you built up a life for yourself and got custody. She's like, yeah. And he said, well, how long were they in his custody? And it was 18 months. And Jen's like, but were you like still co-parenting or were you doing things with the kids? Thank you. Finally, we have like the defense coming in here. And she's like, yes, I never missed a time. I've never missed time with my kids. And that was a horrible time. And now she's sobbing. And so Jen's like, I'm so sorry. And they leave it there. And then Heather, that fucking dark cloud funnel of skin and bones, comes up to her with her dark button eyes and looms above her and is like, Katie, I am very sorry about the children. That must have been devastating. I don't know the whole story, but I wasn't going to bring that part up. Yes, you did bring it up, you asshole. Emily made it worse, but you were part of this. Don't start trying to protect yourself now.
I am very sorry. Well, thank you. I am speaking an apology to you. I'm very sorry. Okay, thanks. And Gina, you look fucking gorgeous. How do you keep your vagina in your skirt? Oh my God, aren't we having the best time today?
When I say the word hate, I cannot over exaggerate that enough. What a vile human being. Gross. So then after we've just ruined Katie, we take a break. And then Katie's like, basically crying. And then, Heather, oh my God, I thought you were joking. Heather literally does go, Gina, you look fucking gorgeous. How you keep your vagina inside your...
So now it's time to move on to more fun things. Ryan's role in this scandal.
Well, this is downright innocent and fun at this point.
It really is. No, I'm like, oh, thank God. Just an FBI scandal. No children and traumatic past to have to be resurrected.
I just want to say something really quick. I know that sometimes people listen to this and we're supposed to be a fun podcast doing fun things. And that's normally how this is. But sometimes it just gets so dark. And I can't. Like, I just sometimes where I can't understand. Fucking can't. And I get that that's not why you come here. But fuck Heather and fuck Emily. You two fucking monsters. I hate you. Okay, that's it.
I don't understand why we're so angry. It's almost like it's been a pretty chill week, so I don't know what's going on.
Well, it popped on your house.
I mean, I would not call this a particularly emotional time right now. So,
well. It could be projecting, but it could also just be two vile people continuing to get away with shit over and over, and nobody seems to care. Wow.
And we are also...
That doesn't sound familiar at all, does it?
We're also completely stoking each other on. And another thing. Yeah, you're right, Rami. And another thing. Like, we are actually... Like, when I was watching, I was like, this is so fucked up. But today, I'm like I am spewing hellfire and brimstone because, like, you know what? Why not? So then Okay, so let's move on. So Andy is like, it's like, all right, everyone. Well, Jenn was betting it all on her future with Ryan. Get it? See what I did there? Betting. Tamra was dealing out accusations about Jenn's future husband when Ryan found himself in the center of an international scandal. Ha ha ha. Well, so then we go into this whole thing, and we have a montage about Ryan and this Otani situation and the gambling and the bookies and all this stuff. It's a big montage and everything. And when we come back, Andy's like, so did you consider breaking off your engagement when this happened? And Jen's like, no. I just know that day was hard. It was a hard day. The yoga studio was closed, so I couldn't do my, vinyasa flow. And that was difficult. And, then oh yeah, and then there was that scandal with Ryan, but it's mainly the vinyasa I was really upset about that day. Yeah.
And did Ryan say I'm cooperating with the authorities? I have immunity. Don't worry. And she goes, oh God, it was so long ago. I'd already known all that. This had happened almost 7 months prior to that. And he's like, so he was already working with the authorities. And she goes, oh, well, he had those 2 Zoom calls. Yeah, he had those. No, we don't know. What the fuck are you talking about? Tell us more, Jenn. Also, why is Jenn talking? Didn't anybody tell Jenn, don't talk? Don't talk about this stuff.
So Tamara's like, yeah, but then if you had the Zoom calls, then why were you surprised when I mentioned the FBI? She goes, oh, well, that night I was, oh, sorry, that's Emily saying that. And Jenn goes, well, because you mentioned the FBI as if Ryan was in trouble with the feds and, ask him how the feds are going, and Ryan and his attorney reached out to the feds and the feds never reached out to Ryan. The feds never came to Ryan's home. Ryan's been, totally not in trouble whatsoever. He's just been working with the feds.
Listen, no Ryan, problem. All Ryan does is splatter denim with paint. I mean, who could be mad at that? And so Andy's like, well, they would have come to his home had he not cooperated. She goes, I don't know. What do I know? And Heather's like, yeah, but remember, he was like, maybe she was talking about Matt as if he had no idea. And Emily's like, hey, no. And Shannon says, yeah, as a person of experience, when you're involved in a lawsuit and you're on a reality show and it's ongoing, it's not, you shouldn't just sit there and say, oh, well, da. Why are you making fingers with your circles? Circles with your fingers, Shannon. I can't stop.
It's actually my daily exercise. You know what? Yes, as a person of experience, and I'm not saying this is just because I'm being currently sued by John Jansen and Alexis Bellino, but it's mainly because I am being sued by John Jansen and Alexis Bellino twice now by Alexis. So I'm just processing that. Let me do the circles again just to get it out of the system. I'm okay.
Okay, let's back it up. Jenn, what did you mean when you said you fucked it all up? Because they showed that clip of Jenn being like, oh my God, I fucked it all up. She goes, well, I knew the article was coming and we were told we want to mention Ryan's name. And Ryan's attorney said that he wants it all known that I'm not a bookie in his, the Shohei Otani situation. And then so when it came out, I felt like this is on me because if I wasn't sitting on this couch, he wouldn't have been mentioned. I mean, it just would have been about Matt and Matt's business. But now, people know who Ryan is. And so it's also about Ryan. I thought she was saying I fucked it all up because she was like, I left my husband and ruined my family for this man. But she wasn't. She was like, oh no, I hurt things for Ryan by being on this show.
I made Ryan's complicity in this scandal much more high profile. I ruined it.
Jenn, come on, man.
So Emily's like, but Ryan was involved. They were writing about it, and that's why he was mentioned. I feel badly that you think that you're the reason and that he's being implicated is something that you did. That's not true. Women should not be victims. Katie, you're a terrible mom. Okay? So yeah. Jenn is like, she's like, but he's not involved in Matt's bookie business. Not at all. He just merely received $16 million in his bank account, just kind of like as a joke. It's like a fun thing, boys will be boys.
They just keep questioning her and she just keeps answering the questions. Well, you can say, listen, I'm telling you everything I've read and I've done as much research as possible to understand it. So you have done research. So you are researching people in the cast. He is involved. And in order for him to have immunity, that means he testifies. Okay, listen.
Emily's right on this point.
Emily's right. That's what I'm going to say too. Emily's right, and they're right. It's not that she's wrong about everything that she's saying. I think she's probably right in most of the stuff she's saying. But who makes it up to Emily to be everybody's judge and jury? Why does Emily get to decide everybody's guilty and then just drag them across the floor every season? Do something on your own. You have nothing going on except a husband who hates you with a very thin veil on. Okay,
Wait, no, Emily has something going on. New hip. So then Andy's
that's right.
So Andy's like, well, then. So Jen's like, no, well, he never testified. And he's like, well, so then how did he get immunity? She goes, and Emily's like, well, probably he gave information about Matt so they could prosecute Matt. She's, no, but that's his best friend. He would never do that. Yeah, but you said he knew everything. You said he said he knew everything about him, and he's like, yeah, like that's how you get immunity. And she's like, well, I don't know where everybody gets that idea that you just have to tell on someone else to get immunity. I think you get immunity just by bring some coffee to the FBI, right?
Oh, you know what? Well, cue up my favorite song, Orchestra, because I'm about to sing it. I'm an attorney. Yeah, we know, Emily. Okay. And also, everybody knows how immunity works because we watch mob movies. Okay.
Because we watch 24 and we see the deals that Jack Bauer cut. Okay. We know what immunity is. So, but it's kind of
funny. All like we're idiots.
And it's like, okay, Jen, when you get immunity, it's because you are exchanging. Oh, like holiday exchange? Well, we did invite the FBI to our white elephant party, so maybe that's what that's about.
I ended up with a vibrator, which was so funny because I gave a bag of crystals that I actually took down from the chandelier before I left the last house. Hey, wait a minute. That was my friend's house. Sorry, I shouldn't have said that.
Well, I think that you have to volunteer. And I think he had to volunteer the account. No immunity. Heather goes, it is an exchange of information. And
this is what he did. Here's the account. Here's the computer. There's the account. There's the phone. Take it. Go ahead and take it. You're like, yeah. And Emily goes, yeah, that's all I'm saying. And she's like, well, he submitted whatever they needed him to submit. Is that what you mean?
I mean, yeah, he told them all what Matt was up to. I don't think he actually ratted him out.
And like, Andy says, well, can you explain what the dirty business is? And she goes, I don't know what the dirty business is. What's the dirty business? Where's the dirty business? Anybody? Does anybody know?
Dirty Dancing? I love that movie. I
was like, okay. I'm an attorney. Oh my God.
So Otani's interpreter has a gambling addiction. He makes all these bets with Matt. Matt is an illegal bookie, so he racked up a ton of bet. So then, in order to pay his debts, the translator stole money out of Otani's account. So then we see articles that confirm this. And Emily's like, the money went into Ryan's account. It was between 15, 16, or 17 million, and it was in Ryan's name. Now, by the way, like, this is what I want people. I don't understand why no one in this cast is critical of this. Like, is that the weirdest thing? Why would, if someone's not involved in a scheme, why would you put the money in just like a friend's account? Like, that does not make any sense.
I think everybody agrees that Ryan's guilty.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think
he just flipped. He flipped on his friend, clearly.
Yeah, I think that everybody agrees with the premise of this. I think that we just see Jenn as kind of a victim of Ryan because she's just Jenn. I mean, she's like such a good-hearted person. You want to root for Jenn. And I don't believe she's like a Carmela Soprano type who knows what's going on and is just turning a blind eye. Maybe she knows a little bit, but she just seems just so dingy about it. And she believes she believes everything he tells her. And it just seems like we don't care if Ryan goes. I mean, we, the audience, I don't care if Ryan goes down. He seems like a slime bucket, but I don't want Jenn to go down, and I don't want Emily ruining Jen's life. Like, I just don't want it. I don't care if he did it.
Well, Ryan moved the money into marker accounts and casinos, specifically Resorts World and Pachanga. Now, hold on one moment. Dun 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 dun. Sorry, the rule of Pachanga is you have to do the theme song when you mention it. It's just the way it goes. It's like you can't say "oh" without going "oh, O'Reilly Auto Parts."
So then Ryan moved all this money to marker accounts and casinos. All that stuff. So then Jen's like, well, listen, I mean, how many times? 32, 40? I mean, I don't know. How much? I don't know. So many numbers. And the reason Matt used that bank account was because he could only bank through Bank of America, and he didn't have a Bank of America account. So he used that account. So he had no idea it was going to blow up and be an interpreter. I mean, whose money is this? And wait, let me finish. So that's what Heather says, right? Gotta love her. So every dollar was accounted for by Matt, and Ryan's name was just on the account. And Tamra's like, I get an alert every time I get $10,000 to my account. It says, hey, bitch, you got money.
I like that Jen just says, well, the exchange, the money, just the illegal bookie business had to be done with Bank of America, and Matt didn't have a Bank of America account, so he thought I could either open one or I could just put $16 million in Ryan's account. That just seemed like the easier thing to do. Oh, sure.
Listen, I'm not here to attack Ryan, but basically, she continues to attack Ryan. She explains that they were cashing in the chips, that they were turning all this money into chips at casinos and then cashing them in. And then they lost $12 million gambling. And Jen's like, well, I've read a million different things, and Emily says, and then they were laundering the money. And then at the party, then Matt said, this is my laundering partner. She says, oh, Matt, he just jokes. He's being funny. Like he's making fun of it. He's being dumb. It's like, oh, look, this is the money launderer. Is that funny? I think it's funny.
But he has a criminal enterprise going on, and he says, this is my money laundering partner. Well, it's just the money. It's just that, look, you can't actually clean money. Like, just the phrase money laundering is kind of a joke, right? You don't just put it into your whirlpool and just let it rip, right? I mean, so I don't know why people aren't seeing that comedy here.
She goes, the money's not Ryan's. We know. That's the point. And Emily's like, I know. And Andy goes, well, but he's also given immunity. So, and he's not being charged. Andy, he's not being charged. Thank you. Thank you, Andy. Thank you so much.
Emily, as someone currently being sued who is not immune from literally anything in this world, who currently has peanuts in her house, poisoning her, Emily, if she's saying that the only part that Ryan had is his name was on the account, that's all it is. I don't understand what's going on here. Also, I'd like to point out, Alexis Bellino is suing me. Just want to keep it that as a present runner in this.
And Emily's like, but that's opposite of everything I've read. And Jen goes, well, I'm sorry. I mean, I've read your in-laws fund your whole life. The way that she literally gagged this woman, Emily just stopped and looked like she caught a canary in her mouth. She was just like,
Jen just pulled that up out of nowhere. It was like, like, wait, Jen, and she's had this entire conversation to bring that up, but then out of nowhere, she brings it up right here. And Emily's like, oh, it's like,
because Emily won't stop. It's like Jen tried to be nice to her and Emily just won't stop. So she shuts Emily up, which is so funny. And Emily has nothing to say. She doesn't deny that. And it was glorious. I think she's one of the first people to ever shut Emily up,
I know.
So she acts like some weakling, but at the end of the day, she can shut that monster up.
It literally is squirting a cat with a water gun that gets on the counter. Oh, okay, I'll go back down to the floor. So, she gets Emily to do the pivot of the old classic. Look, at the end of the day,
you got nothing for nothing, and that's all you can say for the life of the Genos. So Emily's like,
I just more respect for you and Ryan if you said to me, you know what? He made some bad choices, but he's going to be on the straight and narrow. She goes,
it's not your business. No one needs to come confess to you. You're not the criminal justice system, okay? Copyright attorney, shut the fuck up over there. No one needs to do that. And how about you stop? And you married Shane. And how about you stop asking everybody to come confess crimes on camera, Emily? What are you talking about? I just want you to confess. Yeah, I'm sure you do, Emily. Okay, but that's not how this works. And also, Innocence Project. Hello.
She's like, I don't owe you that because he hasn't done anything wrong. How is he not? Does he have a mortgage broker license anymore? You know what? I don't know why you'd love to do this. I don't ask you how many cases does Shane have. We're just probably like,
this is not a great argument. Yeah. Shane doesn't even, drink more than 7-Up. You know what I mean? So she goes, well, it's just this Tammy Wynette thing where you got to stand by your man. And sometimes you just need to be held. You just need to be accountable. Like, no, she doesn't. Not to you. Do you understand? She doesn't have to be accountable to you. Who are you?
Yeah. So that was the end. Jen's like, I'm very accountable. Although maybe my accounting is not so great.
I'm not countable. Well, I'm one person. I am countable. Look at me. I'm one person.
One. Okay.
Thank you so much for showing me I'm countable. This was a really, really productive day, Andy.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Emily, for reminding me.
Thank you, Andy.
Thank you. That was it for the first episode. It was, wow, we wound ourselves up, and that's fun. That's a fun thing to do as podcasters. So thanks everyone for listening. Hope you all have a sane and fun weekend. And we'll be back on Monday for a whole fresh new week of Bravo recaps. Bye
everybody. Love you guys.
Watch What Crappens would like to thank its premium sponsors.
Ain't no thing like Allison King.
Ashley Savoni, she don't take no baloney.
We're fanning out for Bethany Fannin.
Put your hands together for Carly Clapp.
Dana C. Dana Do.
Aaron McNicholas, she don't miss no trickolas. Jamie, she has no last namey.
Hava Nagila Weber. Know Your Worth with Jason Kurth.
Sipped some scotch with Jessica Trotch.
She's our favorite streamer, Caroline Peacock.
Kristen the Piston Anderson.
Rigging the funk, it's Leslie Plunkett.
Let's give a kisserino to Lisa Lino.
Let's get feely with Maggie Sheely.
Megan Berg. You can't have a burger without the Berg.
Cast a Spell with Shannon Spellman. The Bay Area Betches.
And our super premium sponsors.
Somebody get us 10 cc's of Betsy MD.
We're taking the gold with Brenda Silva.
Let's get real with Caitlin O'Neill.
Don't get salty with Christine Pepper. Can't have a meal without the Emily Sides.
Nobody holds a candle to Jamie Kendall. We got our wish, it's Jenn Plish.
She's not harsh, she's Jill Hirsch.
She's a little bit loony. Junie, my favorite Murdo, Karen McMurdo. We love him madly, it's Kyle Pod Shadley.
Let's go on a bender with Lauren Fender, the incredible edible Matthews sisters.
Give him hell, Miss Noel.
Ring that bell for Rachel.
She's the queen bee, it's Sarah Lemke. Shannon, out of a cannon, Anthony. Let's take off with Tamla Plain.
She ain't no shrinking Violet Kuchar. We love you guys.
If you like Watch What Crappens, you can listen ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus in the Wondery app or on Apple Podcasts. Prime members can listen ad-free on Amazon Music. Before you go, tell us about yourself by filling out a short survey at Wondery.com/survey.
Have you ever wondered who created that bottle of sriracha that's living in your fridge? Or why nearly every house in America has at least one game of Monopoly? Introducing The Best Idea Yet, a brand new podcast from Wondery and T-Boy about the surprising origin stories of the products you're obsessed with and the bold risk takers who brought them to life. Like, did you know that Super Mario, the best-selling video game character of all time, only exists because Nintendo couldn't get the rights to Popeye? Or Jack, that the idea for the McDonald's Happy Meal first came from a mom in Guatemala? From Pez dispensers to Levi's 501s to Air Jordans. Discover the surprising stories of the most viral products. Plus, we guarantee that after listening, you're going to dominate your next dinner party. So follow The Best Idea Yet on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to The Best Idea Yet early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus. It's just the best idea yet.
In a quiet suburb, a community is shattered by the death of a beloved wife and mother. But this tragic loss of life quickly turns into something even darker. Her husband had tried to hire a hitman on the dark web to kill her. And she wasn't the only target. Because buried in the depths of the internet is the kill list, a cache of chilling documents containing names, photos, addresses, and specific instructions for people's murders. This podcast is the true story of how I ended up in a race against time to warn those whose lives were in danger. And it turns out convincing a total stranger someone wants them dead is not easy. Follow Kill List on the Wondery app or wherever you get your podcasts. You can listen to Kill List and more Exhibit C true crime shows like Morbid, early and ad-free right now by joining Wondery Plus. Check out Exhibit C in the Wondery app for all your true crime listening.